Hey, what's going on, guys? So, Ghost in the Shell with Scarlett Johansson, the film exploring transhumanism and the philosophical and spiritual implications as humanity progresses in that direction, because this acts as predictive programming, because it's somewhat inevitable that people will begin to actually do what they're doing in this film. So, with that being said, let's explore the symbolism contained within this science fiction, quote-unquote, movie. So, yeah, let's go.
Saved you.
So in the introduction of the film, they have the construction of Major or Scarlett Johansson's artificial body and then the insertion of her human brain, indicating that some aspect of their soul or some human part can survive the transhuman processing that they will actually probably be implementing at some time or another. And when her artificial body is being birthed, she rises up into the silhouette of the in the triangle, or in the all-seeing eye capstone, because the all-seeing eye of Horus, or the great work of the New World Order, in my eyes is actually the birth of the transhuman immortalized AI elite gods. And that's what Scarlett Johansson is really introducing to the public, along with many other films. But yeah, this is just another piece of the transhuman puzzle and the mythology that goes with it. And isn't it fitting that the release was March 31st or March 30th if you went and saw it Thursday night like I did? So we have a 33 coming in. 33 vertebrae of the spine. Jesus was 33 at the point of death and resurrection. Jesus being an entity that conquers death through material form, right? So the occult or esoteric interpretation of transhumanism for some of these occultists is like the conquering of death, 33, which is what the 33 a lot of times symbolizes. That's why it's a lot of time put inside the capstone. The Horus, the rising sun, or the rising resurrected material form, and that's where it connects into the literal application of the 33 is transhumanism. So that's why it came out on March 31st. The 3, and then the 1, right? The 1, the resurrected 1.
Please, sit
And
down.
isn't it fitting that the Scarlet Woman, Scarlett Johansson, takes on the role of apotheosis yet again, just like her role in Her, just like her role in Lucy, and most fitting of all, playing the serpent Ka in the Jungle Book, a film allegorizing the Promethean fire, which is essentially man's relationship with technology in the ordering of nature or the jungle. And she plays the serpent character, which is associated with the apple, which is associated with the concept of man becoming God through the process of transhuman apotheosis in its literal application. And that's what she's playing in this film. So it's all very cohesive. So the movie poses the core philosophical question: at what point does humanity stop remaining human in its use of technology? And the funny thing is, it sells us the idea that some part of our soul will remain as we descend down the transhuman abyss that is sold to us by the corporate Hollywood ideology at every level right now. And even in the film, her creator, or her tech mother, you could say, she states that in the future, everyone on the planet will be like her. So it's basically a proclamation of transhumanism and the ideology of transhumanism within the film. It's very interesting that when the first action scene in the movie begins, Scarlett Johansson jumps off a building and is in an inverted cruciform position as the spider geishas hack into the minds of their victims. Assassin's Creed used the inverted cruciform position. Michael Fassbender, meet Walter, meet David. Interesting parallels that I thought I should point out. The movie plays heavily with a protective mother archetype throughout the film, as in the mother energy is what guides and helps the ghost in the shell or the soul remain alive through this tyrannical technological dystopia. The creator of Major is who helps set her free when she is ordered to kill her. Also, Scarlett meeting her actual Asian mother. They somehow turned her from an Asian to Scarlett Johansson. That was kind of funny. And then Scarlett herself saving the robot dude. So the core plot points all revolve around that mother or feminine archetype in both the dark and light sense. And typically emotion or the qualities of the soul is thought to be more feminine, at least in the emotional aspects, versus the logical, rational robot mind of the man, per se. So the motherly guiding force who sees Major as her child is what keeps her ghost alive when they are ordered to execute her because she's no longer able to be controlled because of her human brain component. They just want rational, order-following robots with no emotion.
You get used to it.
I do find it kind of creepy that they create an artificial network out of the minds of all these monks sitting in a lotus flower-like position reminiscent of the crown chakra. Because just like in Ex Machina, I really do think that they're cataloging all of the thoughts or input of the human mind through social media into a big database, creating potentially real artificial intelligence off of all of the data collected off of every single person in the world who's plugged into the internet, and I believe that's what this is meant to symbolize. When learning about her past and that the terrorist narrative was a false memory implanted into her mind, the key location where she uncovers all of this truth at is a place with black roots extending from a massive dark tree, and on the black roots, of course, is golden flakes. This is essentially a dark or black depiction of the Kabbalistic tree of life. Just before entering this place where she learns all of this truth, she of course is standing in between two distinct pillars, symbolizing the synthesis in her own mind of learning the truth about the company she was working for and the truth about the villain that she thought she was fighting. The black roots of her story with the golden flakes is alchemical symbolism, of course. The application of the dark side of the tree of life, gradually moving the world along, eventually giving birth to literal transhumanism, or the gold perfected form of matter. The idea of transferring consciousness into actual AI, immortal robot bodies. And it's a very real goal of the futurist, spiritual, materialist, and elitist types. In the climax of the film, when Scarlett is fighting the corrupt dude within the company that she worked for with the dude who she thought was the villain, I cannot remember all of these Asian names, so sorry, they're all just going to be dudes. When she's fighting the spider tank, and then the spider tank grabs the dude who she thought was the villain, Major gets on top of the spider tank to save him and uses all of her strength to rip open the machine and deactivate it. In doing this, she rips off her own left arm, which in my speculation is a way of symbolizing the left-hand path, the path of the dark occult, the dark side of the tree of life, the dark roots of the tree of life, or the left pillar, which you could call the dark application of the tree of life. I said that like 6 times.
We saved you, and now you save others.
Find the terrorist.
And one more thing that I wanted to add to go back to the beginning, when they're building her synthetic body, they have all the colors of the rainbow flashed on top of her body as they zoom in on one of her eyes, somewhat reminiscent of the 2001 Space Odyssey rainbow portal that Dave Bowman goes through in his own process of apotheosis. So again, we have the rainbow symbolism being used in conjunction with the gold symbolism, and I know 85% of my videos lately have been talking about that, but that's what shows up over and over and over again. And at the end of the rainbow, at the end of the completion of the physical spectrum of light, right, the biological spectrum we exist within, is the target or the pot of gold. So that's why they use gold and rainbow symbolism in all of this transhuman programming. Are we the ghost in the shell of this dystopic technological world order that we see being birthed before our very eyes with all of this cohesive programming that is infiltrating every aspect of entertainment and advertising? Are we the remaining soul in this madness? Maybe. Anyways, please like, share, subscribe, comment below. Thank you very much, and bye. Bye. Bye.